We are a family of 6 plus 4 cats and a dog that have been traveling in our self-converted school bus full-time for about 6 months now. If there's one word to describe this build, is intentional. This is where almost everything happens. This is our homeschooling area. This is where Glaucio and I will do work, and it's also where we eat most of our meals. This is the bench that we use to climb up into the bed, and it also doubles as the bench for the office.
And for people that may have missed it, this was the hardest part of the bus build.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
Hi, I'm Morgan.
I'm Glaucio.
And this is our bus, the Flying Circus bus. So we are actually a family of 6 plus 4 cats and a dog that have been traveling in our self-converted school bus full-time for about 6 months now. We've always loved to travel. With kids, especially being the ages they were at the time, it was not the simplest thing to just go take a trip between the diapers and all the clothing and the kids' items and just the logistics of simply getting out the door. It was a lot to figure out every time. So when he brought up this idea of the bus, it was kind of that perfect way to accomplish our dreams of traveling while simultaneously maintaining a routine, simultaneously being able to continue our jobs, continue our income, and show the kids what else was out there. And we have every single thing we need inside this 40-foot bus.
The conversion started in April and lasted about 9 months.
You know, we were up at 6 o'clock in the morning working before work would start. We worked until the middle of the night. It was a lot of work for 9 months.
Yeah. During that first trip, it was a 9-month trip around the country. After we came back, the first winter, we just looked at each other and said, I think we got the bug. And we made a plan to get everything together, sell all of our stuff, sell the house, and try the full-time living this year. So that's when we started about 6 months ago.
Now, a lot of people are curious, how much do we spend per month? What we have found is a lot of it transfers over from what we would spend in a traditional lifestyle in a home versus what we're spending in the bus. So we don't have a mortgage. However, we are spending a lot more than, let's say, the traditional person just driving to and from work. We're spending quite a bit on gas. If we want to move slow, if we're going to stay in places for longer amounts of time, that number drastically reduces. We get to decide what that final number is. I would say food-wise, without the convenience of Instacart right at the doorstep or a car, it means that we use what we have completely versus continually buying more. But otherwise, I would say costs kind of just transfer over.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm 12 years old, and I think my favorite part of the bus is the travel and getting to see all the new places that we probably wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Behind me is our 1996 Bluebird TC2000. It's a 40-footer with a Cummins 8.3 and a 5-speed transmission. As far as gas mileage, we get between 5 and 7 miles per gallon. I don't try and go fast, but of course we are a big heavy vehicle with very low aerodynamics, so we just do the best we can. We have 4 storage bays on the side of the bus. Those 2 house our battery bank and our electric components. So we have 3 batteries, 280 amp hours each at 24 volts, totaling 840 amp hours. Here we have a can for our diesel heater. Underneath here we have our mini split and propane, and then a ladder to access the rooftop storage. So the deck is about 8 by 12. We have many boxes there that we store spare parts, extra material for the bus and tools. And the purpose of the deck is to have views and utility storage. Now that you've seen the outside, let's go inside. All right, coming into the bus, we have some storage for the kids' shoes here. Here is the litter box for our 4 cats. They do a great job at not making a mess. The intention here was to keep the bus original in this corner and keep the character of the bus, but incorporate some more modern touches and more purpose-built furniture for our needs. We have a drawer here for everyday things that we need to grab, batteries and so on and so forth. I have a main control panel here with our security cameras and also our home automation. Our battery system is all connected here. I can check each battery and what charging looks like. We have our blinds here to bring them down to keep the sun away when we're camping. Our mini split, hat storage, and for people that may have missed it, this, in case you didn't see, it was the hardest part of the bus build. This is 3 compound angles, milling, and a curved piece of wood. So that took me about a day, and most people just look at that and think it's just a piece of wood, but yeah, that was the hardest part. So then moving forward, we have our living room. We have our diesel heater in the front. The back of the couches all have storage behind every single one with either kids' books or toys. And on top of this being our living room space and lounge area and a seat for when we drive, this always converts into a big bed lounge area here. All 5 extend and we can have sleeping for more people if need be. And then as far as storage, this is where the wheel wells are. So we have short drawers on each side, and each kid has a drawer for their personal stuff that they want to collect or keep. And then we have one bigger drawer here for family games and some other electronics and musical instruments and things like that.
I'm Mari and I'm 10, and my favorite part about the bus is probably the travel, or just exploring.
All right, so now moving forward, I'm gonna pass it on to my gorgeous wife and she'll keep on going.
If there's one word to describe this build, is intentional. Every choice we made throughout the build has a reason behind it. Nothing was accidental. This is where almost everything happens. This is our homeschooling area. This is where Glaucio and I will do work. This is where kids will come and craft and do Play-Doh, drawing, and it's also where we eat most of our meals. So instead of going with just regular stools, which we originally had, we made these custom benches. Each bench has lots of storage on the inside, and there's one for each kid. Instead of having items scattered throughout the bus, we made sure that everything for a certain activity is within the same place, making it easy to grab. Each kid has notebooks for their homeschooling, a whiteboard. So again, we have to think about things. We can't be wasting paper. We don't have the garbage space for all the paper with 4 kids. They use whiteboards for their homeschool for a lot of that math type work, spelling, that sort of thing. And the key to all of this is headphones. Each of the kids have their own headphone set. So when they're all doing homeschooling, while they generally start the same time, they trickle off in terms of who gets done first. It helps the kids to stay focused on what their activity is, their lesson, and make the small space work. In conjunction with our table area, we also have created this space to be kind of a systems center, if you will. Instead of just, again, wasted space over here, we specifically made it to fit our kids' Kindles. We don't have room for lots of books. We want them reading. That allows them to simultaneously charge, store, keeps it organized and clutter-free. Like most people, we use Starlink for work, for our internet, school, watching videos, and so we have one here and one in the back of the bus as well. We use this monitor for multiple things. While we do have a projector that we can use for movie nights, that is not always the most opportune time to pull something out and get it set up. Or if Glaucio's working and he wants a double screen, he can connect his laptop, adjust the height of this in the position, and sit down and work here too. For us, being that this is a smaller space, we loved the original aspect of these bus windows. So we chose to keep almost this entire wall full of the original windows. My youngest was doing school yesterday morning and goes, "Mom, there's a turtle outside." So like they're here parked in front of the beach doing their school, but they're still a part of what's going on outside. And that is really what this is all about for us, bringing the outside in and vice versa.
We're gonna get back to our tour in just 1 minute, but first I'd like to thank this week's episode sponsor, EasyOptOuts. Sponsors make it possible for us to travel around, hire professionals, and make great quality content for you. So I really appreciate businesses like EasyOptOuts for sponsoring my channel. You know what else I appreciate? Online privacy. It's scary how much information you can find out about yourself online. And yeah, you can spend a whole bunch of time removing your information from websites or opting out, but it's really confusing and honestly not feasible for everyone. So that's where a data removal service comes in handy, like EasyOptOuts, and it's surprisingly affordable at just $20 a year. What I like about EasyOptOuts, besides the fact that it works and it has a great rating, is that it's just a company of 2 people. So they're not gonna be sharing my information with a bunch of employees, and they also don't share my information with ad or analytic platforms. They focus on publicly accessible people search sites, and they don't ask for information that isn't already available on those sites. So don't worry, they won't be asking for private information like your social security number. In fact, it only took me about 5 minutes to sign up and enter the information that they needed to begin opting me out immediately. So it's absolutely worth it to me to spend $20 to save myself a whole bunch of time and protect my online privacy. So if you're interested in learning more about EasyOptOuts, we're gonna have a link for you at the top of the description. But right now, let's get back to our tour.
So the height of our bus is about 6 foot. That is finished from the floor up to our ceiling. That makes it perfect for my husband. He's just about 6 foot and he can walk through without any problems. This was originally an emergency exit in the bus. We love the natural light. Again, that's why we kept all these windows. So rather than close that off, we utilized that hole. We made a custom skylight. I don't think we would change it. For a fridge, again, we're a family of 6. We went with an apartment-sized fridge. We wanted something that was budget friendly. This allows us to go about 2 weeks. Now with that comes our pantry storage. So these are all of our dry goods. We went with uniform containers. These are the pop-top containers that keep the food fresh. And we get to fit as much food as possible in here. By doing this, one, I'm able to easily see what we need to replenish and when I go grocery shopping. I'm wasting less food. But the best trick of all that we have found is when we go grocery shopping, instead of keeping everything in the original packaging, we stay parked in the lot, we bring our groceries in from the side door, which comes right into the kitchen, and we immediately throw away all of the original packaging, putting everything into these containers. Garbage is generally what we run out of space for first. And so by doing this, we're throwing all of our trash out at once in their trash cans, and we're left with the food. We made use of the space above, and we created a custom spice rack. Now moving back into the actual kitchen space of the bus. Again, this is all about design functionality. 4 kids, 4 cats, a dog, 2 adults. We have to make this work. We chose to go with L shape because that is how I like to cook. We have a full-size sink. Instead of using an oven, we went with a toaster oven from Breville. It is big. I can cook a full pan of lasagna. I can cook breads in here. I can make birthday cakes. So it does it all, but I don't have to compromise storage. We made custom epoxy countertops. We were looking for something that had the look of stone, a lower price point, and we loved the fact that it was lighter weight. This has held up really well. It's been 4 years. It's not getting discolored. It's not cracking. It's really easy to clean, and it's light. So it works really well for us. That in combination has also meant that when we drive, I don't have to remove anything from the kitchen. It is grippy enough that our appliances don't move. They stay in place regardless of the type of roads. Even through Baja, nothing has moved. We use an induction cooktop. It's electric. We pull it out to use it. When it cools down, it goes back in the drawer, leaving the countertops open. Being that we were from Montana, we wanted our water tank inside the bus to help with freezing and reducing any risk of burst pipes, that sort of thing. So we have a 100-gallon water tank here. This face pops off with a magnetic door, so we can easily tell how much water is left. We use ratchet straps to hold it in place. And then, like Glaucio mentioned, we have little water sensors throughout the bus near any sort of water source that is tied into our home automation system. So if there ever was any sort of leak, we can quickly address it and make sure it doesn't turn into a bigger problem. With our water, that lasts us very comfortably about a week, and we can push it to 2 if needed. That is showering, that is washing dishes, that is just normal household life for a family of 6.
I'm Olivia and I'm 6 and I like everything about the bus.
Now that we're done with the kitchen, let's go down the hallway and take a look. So this is officially our halfway point of the bus. You've only seen half of it. We chose to keep the original emergency exit door. This is where we load and unload things into the bus. While the kids have all of their shoes stored in the front of the bus, we made use of the vertical storage and we screwed in 2 baskets. One is for my shoes, one is for Glaucio's shoes. You'll notice throughout the bus, on the outside and the inside, we use these little magnetic hooks. We can hang towels up in here, we can hang grocery bags, whatever we need to. Vertical storage. It's all about the storage in a tiny space. So right behind me is our cleaning multifunctional closet. This is where the kids sleep, and there's even a bedroom behind me. But we're gonna turn around and go take a look at the bathroom. We wanted to make sure in our design that we were able to close off the different sections for functionality with a family of 6, to break up sleeping, to break up work, to break up if we just need time alone. So this bathroom door is multifunctional. If I close it this way, we close off the whole front section from the rest of the bus. Now right behind me is our little bathroom. As you can see, we made use of all the wall cavities again. We utilized another max air fan that also doubles as our light. This is really good for getting that condensation out while showering and giving us the light we need in a small space. The wall cavity, this is right behind the kitchen. So we used the 2x4 space in behind, and we were able to fit all of our toothbrushes and bathroom items. Right below, we have a small sink. Behind the toilet is our tankless water heater. It's instant hot water, and it heats it up really quickly and runs off of propane. Right below is our composting toilet. This Glaucio made using curved wood. We went with a composting toilet because it was easier for us to find a place to throw out the compost than it was to route black water. We didn't want to deal with a black tank. We didn't want to have to worry about dumping a black tank. So with the simple use of this and no smell, it works perfectly for our family. This is our small shower. We did use actual tile on the walls and on the floor. We chose to use a smaller tile with the hopes being that as we drive into more remote areas, bumpy roads and such, we have less a chance of breakage. So far, so good. As you can see above me, we did add in a skylight above to give a little bit more room, especially for my husband is showering, so that it's more comfortable. And again, that natural light, it makes a small space seem a lot bigger. We chose to leave a shelf right behind us that allows us space to put shavers, whatever we need while showering, makes it functional. And behind me, one of the coolest things in our shower is we wall mounted our shampoo and conditioners to the wall. This has made all the difference because again, the less we have to put away before driving and set up when we get somewhere, the better this whole experience is. So this means no more shampoo bottles all over the floor, nothing breaking. It is always there. We've had that for 4 years. Nothing has ever fallen. It works great. So coming out of the bathroom, here's the question everybody wants to know. Where do our 4 kids sleep? So this midsection of the bus is the area that we organized to be the bunk bed area. We made it so that each bunk is a full-size mattress length. So we didn't design this to fit a kid now. We designed this to fit the kids when they're 18 years old, a full-grown adult. They will still fit in these mattresses. The only difference from a twin bed is that it's narrower. This allows us an actual walk space in between while still maintaining a comfortable sleeping space for the kids. Each bunk has its own set of LED lights. Each bunk bed also has a shelf and a secondary shelf that allows them to store their special items in their own space. Even though the kids have their own individual bunks, we wanted to make sure that they could come in and have their own time, their own space. So one of the rules we have in the bus is that if the curtains are closed, you're not going in. That's their private time. They need to decompress, wind down, whatever it is. I made sure that the inside of the curtains were a softer material and a little bit warmer. So on those cold nights as well, it keeps the bunks a little warmer if they shut it. With each bunk bed, I designed zippered bedding. I wanted to make sure that in a small space that we didn't have comforters and blankets and pillows all over the floor. We made sure that each kid got to choose their own bedding, and so each one is unique. They have little blankets on the outside that keep it comfortable, and with a simple zip in the morning, even my 6-year-old can make her bed without a fuss. Each kid has their own drawer for socks, underwear, and then they have a big drawer that they use for all their clothes. So let's flip around again. So we have our 3rd and final drawer right here. Like the other one, it latches. This gives us privacy, and it also allows us to do work back here and reduce the amount of sound that you hear from up front. Welcome to the bedroom/office area. Being that we both work from home, we wanted multiple areas throughout the bus that would allow us to sit down and work. We have butcher block, just like the tables up front, on latches that pop up, giving us a small desk. To sit and work, we have a multifunctional bench. This is on a 500-pound slide. So this is the bench that we use to climb up into the bed, and it also doubles as the bench for the office. So it works really well for that. Now for our clothing storage. For adults, our clothes are bigger. We need a little bit more space to store everything. So we utilize the similar method. We have a drawer. We utilize rolling our clothes. We use these little fabric bins. It keeps everything organized. Half for me, half for him. Then this small drawer below is where we keep socks, underwear, that sort of thing. Now, if you come look behind me, you're going to see our bed. We have a full-size bed that we fit in here, and just like the kids, I made zippered bedding. 2 simple zips, the bed is made, and we have a single blanket that goes at the bottom.
My name is Mateus. I'm 17. I think my favorite part of the bus is probably traveling around and seeing all the cool places we get to go.
What do people think of us living in a bus? I think it's a mix between we're crazy, and that's really, really cool. Especially in the States traveling, you run into retired couples. You know, they finally have stopped their jobs, they've saved enough, and they get to go travel together. But so many of them look at us and go, good for you. You are doing what we wait our whole lives to do, and you're doing it now and with your kids. And we hear like, oh, they're just now being able to travel, but joints are hurting. They have medical problems, you know, the kids are grown, whatever it is. And they're going, I wish we had done this earlier. So I think that's actually the biggest response we get.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with another unique home tour.